I need the scoop.
A college student's private life becomes a family battleground when his ex-girlfriend's father launches a bizarre crusade months after their breakup. This Reddit confession sparked heated debates about religious boundaries, parental overreach, and what happens when conservative values collide with adult independence. Get ready for a story where one man's quest for moral justice backfires in the most awkward way possible.
Hello, good people of Reddit. I frequent this community a lot, and I know it's filled with lots of good people that give pretty good advice. This is a throwaway account because friends know my regular Reddit account. Sorry in advance if it sounds rushed or anything. I'm kind of rushed and just wrote what I could. I'll answer any questions that anyone may have. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep to the main essentials. I met Megan last summer, and we began dating. We were both inexperienced at the time. I had messed around with other girls before, but never had actually gone all the way before, though she basically saw it as I had already lost my innocence. She has really conservative parents, as do I, who believe that you should hold off until marriage to be intimate. Well, long story short, after dating for a while we began being intimate. We always had protection and were careful. I just want to stress the fact that she was 18 at the time we started dating and she turned 19 while we dated, although because she was held back a year, she was still a senior in high school while I was already in college. While we dated, her dad once asked me if I had ever been intimate before, and I lied and told him no. She had told me to lie for us, so I did. He knew where my parents worked and I guess call me paranoid, but they have a history of making rash decisions. So I didn't want there to be a chance where they would try to reach out to my parents and tell them what I had done. We broke up in February because the relationship wasn't working. We were fighting a lot, and we decided to split ways. It wasn't exactly amicable, but we have talked a handful of times since, and have been civil. I've tried to push that whole relationship out of my life since then, and move on. So, on to the problem at hand. She texts me today out of the blue, telling me if anyone from her family contacts me, to not tell them anything or answer anything. I asked her why, and she told me she told her sister she wasn't innocent anymore, and that she had been intimate with me and one other guy after we broke up. Her sister told her parents, so she wanted to warn me before they reached out to me. I didn't really think anyone would bother contacting me, so I shrugged it off and told her whatever, and left it at that. Now her dad just sent me a message on Facebook telling me he needs to speak with me when I have a chance. I haven't opened up the message as to not show the read notification, but I saw the little notification on my phone. Yes, I do realize that I'm 21, and if he tells my parents it shouldn't matter because I'm on my own and they don't really have a say in my life anymore, which they don't, but they believe about waiting till marriage for intimacy for religious reasons, and if they find out I was intimate with someone, it will really hurt them and most definitely make a rift in our relationship. I've already had a rocky relationship with them, and I don't want to make it worse. My question is, what should I do? Should I ignore the dad? What if he contacts my parents and tells them? Should I tell him anything? I don't want to argue whether I should care if my parents find out or about religious morals. Just about the situation with my ex's parents. I really appreciate any advice and support you guys can offer.
Reddit users overwhelmingly advised ignoring the father completely, with many sharing their own stories of dealing with controlling religious parents. The original poster tried to follow this advice, but the ex-girlfriend's warnings about her father's determination proved accurate. Within hours, the dreaded phone call would transform a college student's private business into a full family crisis.
So I have been reading all of your comments, and I appreciate everything everyone has been saying. I decided not to answer him and just wait it out. She texted me again telling me she was sorry, but she came clean to her dad, and she hopes everything works out and he doesn't take measures. I don't know what that means. Frankly, I don't really care. I agree that this is between him and her, and we've been broken up for a while. There's no reason why he should be looking to me for an explanation. She texted me and told me not to ignore her dad because he has my parents' phone number and will call them if he has to. I talked to my roommate and a few of my friends that live near my apartment, and they advised me to message him back but feel out the conversation. They said not to admit to anything and not justify anything. It is what it is, and it happened. I honestly don't see what he gets out of talking to me or lecturing me or whatever he wants to do. I do hope he doesn't call my parents, because that would be a real jerk thing of him to do for literally no reason at all. This whole thing is such a headache that I thought was supposed to be over with. I appreciate all the input, and I will update once I can or have something to update with.
The community found the father's threats both absurd and concerning, with many predicting exactly what would happen next. As the original poster waited anxiously for the inevitable confrontation, his family remained blissfully unaware of the storm heading their way. When his sister called, asking about his ex's father, the moment of truth had finally arrived.
Wow, this has really blown up way bigger than I thought it would. I've been reading through all of the comments, and I appreciate all the advice from you guys. So, on to the update. I woke up this morning and my dad called me. I feared the worst, but he only needed basic tech support for his computer, and that was all he wanted. I felt relieved and went through my day. A little while ago, my sister calls me and asks me what my ex's dad's name is. I tell her, and she tells me that he called Dad and left a voicemail saying he was going to try and call again today. Most of my family was there, and I was on speakerphone, so they asked if I knew anything. I told them I wouldn't know why my ex's family would try to contact them after us being broken up for such a long time. My dad said it was odd and he would wait for the call and see what was up. He figures her dad just wants advice on something, so he would let me know what it's about. I called my sister shortly after and told her why he was calling, and her response was literally bursting out in laughter. She thinks it's really weird for him to do this because he gains nothing from calling us. My ex is obviously not pregnant, and we both don't think he would try to pull the consent card, so we figured he just wants to tell on me, basically, and that would be that. My sister and my dad are hanging out all day today, and she told me not to worry about it and it will be okay. She will be texting me and let me know or give me a heads up if anything happens. As soon as I get a response, I will let you guys know.
Readers were both amused and outraged by the father's audacious plan to tattle on a grown man to his parents. The original poster's family prepared for what they assumed would be a reasonable conversation about some minor issue. A month later, the full aftermath of this bizarre parental intervention would reveal just how spectacularly the father's moral crusade had backfired.
So I tried making this post a little while back, but it was taken down because it was an update. I don't know. Either way, a lot of you asked for an update, so here it is. Hopefully, this one isn't taken down. Wow, so that last post pretty much blew up more than I thought. I want to thank everyone who commented on it. I may not have been able to respond to everyone, but I did read them and fairly enjoyed some of them, as well as appreciated the advice. So I wanted to wait until after the weekend to post the update because a lot happened, and oh man, it's a pretty good update that most of you will enjoy. So her dad called my dad and was very emotional and pretty angry that I lied to him in the sense that I not only told him I hadn't been intimate with her, but didn't plan on it. What else are you supposed to say? Yes, I plan on going all out? What the heck? My dad was pretty taken back and didn't really know what to say. Her dad continued on, saying how he wanted to let my parents know what a player I was and how I took his daughter's innocence and that it needed to be fixed. My dad just told him he was sorry, he was disappointed in me, and he would handle it. He talked to him some more and calmed him down, then hung up and blocked his number. My dad called me and told me what had happened. I did not give them a heads up. He was pretty calm about it. For a bit, he thought the guy wanted money or something, but when he realized he basically just wanted to tattle, he just left it at that. My mum, on the other hand, called me shortly after and flipped out on me about how I could have gotten her pregnant, and did I even think about what would have happened if she got pregnant, or if I got a disease, and a whole bunch of other things. Basically, a fun time. I went home this past weekend to pick up something from my parents' house I needed for my apartment. Something that was mine, just couldn't take it with me the first time because it didn't fit in the car, so it was a pretty awkward weekend. I did see my sister, and she made so many jokes about how one would go about fixing a situation like this, as my ex wanted to. Because innocence is basically sold and given and whatnot. But yeah, that's the update. All is well for now. Many awkward moments were had. Relationship with parents is much strained.
Sometimes the most controlling parents end up creating the exact situations they tried to prevent. This awkward family drama proves that meddling in adult relationships rarely leads to the moral victories people expect. Share your thoughts on religious boundaries and parental interference in the comments, and check out our other videos for more stories about family conflicts that spiral out of control.